welcome to Magic Bytes. My name is Sue and this is the first video of my channel. This is also the first video of a series that I want to do about Linux. It's gonna be called Linux Journey. And this journey is to basically learn more about Linux. I already know Linux, I've worked with it, but I feel like I kind of got stuck with the basics most of the time, so I want to go deep. I want to learn more in-depth things, and I finished my first course yesterday and I learned something new and I want to share. And this is also gonna keep me going with my studies, I hope. So let's get started. So we're gonna talk about file goblins. Oops. No, though we love magic around here, we're actually gonna talk about file globbing. Sorry, I had to make that joke. So what is gobbling anyway? So gobbling is a pattern matching mechanism used to perform operations in large groups of files and directories. If you didn't understand a thing, sit tight. We're gonna break into pieces and we're gonna run through examples, and at the end hopefully you're gonna understand what it is. So a pattern matching mechanism, this means it is a functionality, it is a tool, something that allows you to use certain things and to perform operation, which means you're going to be running some commands and using globbing as a tool for those commands. And these commands, this operation that you're going to do, it's going to be in large groups of files and directories. So basically that's it, right? So the word glob, it comes from global and it gives that idea of scope, which means you're gonna be applying something on a bigger scope for a big list of files or a big list of directories, something like that. Some history here, globbing in the past, in Unix version 6 more specifically, it wasn't actually something you could just like use it like I was going to show you. It was a program called GLOB. And today, even though like it's kind of incorporated in Bash, I guess, there's still a library routine called GLOB 3. I don't know what that 3 means, but anyway, that's what I could find in the history of globbing, where it came from. So we're gonna start with wildcards. So basically we're talking about using patterns to find files or directories that we want. So wildcards are going to be used for these searches that we're going to do, or I should say a filter actually. So let's start with the asterisk. We can have asterisks, we can have question marks, and we can have brackets being used as wildcards for globbing operations. Let's say like that. So we're gonna start with asterisks, and we're gonna go through a real example. Okay, so we're gonna go here to, and you're gonna use this software here. I have a virtual machine installed in my computer at VMware, and I'm pretty much accessing this virtual machine from the same computer, but I'm using this terminal here to connect via SSH. And this terminal is called Mobile X Term. It's a pretty cool software. I started using, I think it was the day before yesterday, and I haven't explored it much, but I already know you can see the full structure in here, like the directories on the left, and you can configure sessions and save your sessions, your connections, use your password and everything. Like basically basic functionality from like other softwares like this. And something pretty cool is that if you leave your laptop, your computer still for a while, you don't move the mouse or you don't type anything, you start seeing some sort of screen saver, I guess that's how it's called. And you start seeing a lot of penguins all walking all over the window. It's really funny. So let's get started. So I created this folder here. I think we are already in the directory. So I created this globbing apps and logs, just to mimic as if this was an app folder with logs, but they're not for real and they don't actually follow like a real structure of any application I know, but it's kind of similar of how it could be. And we have all these files here. They're all fake. I created just for this exercise. And I'm going to show you how you can use the asterisk and how you apply globbing in practice. So let's start. Let's say here you can see all the files. There's not so many files, but in real life, sometimes you access a server and you're trying to investigate something, troubleshoot something, and there's like hundreds of log files. I don't know, maybe thousands. I haven't seen it, but and it becomes really hard to find specific files, and you don't always know the specific name of the file. Sometimes there are different types of logs in the same folder, and you kind of have to guess what it's called. So this will help with this type of task. You're going to be able to filter things, and you're going to be able to do it using these wildcards that I'm going to show you. So let's say I need to see all files, and we're going to use ls to list files. I want all the log files from this year, and let's assume I know there are log files starting with dates, so I want all of them from this year and this month, which is we are in March 2024, and I don't know the rest of it. I'm still looking into it. I'm not sure which date I want, so I'm just gonna say asterisk to say that I want anything after that. So it's gonna match this pattern, which is 2024 March, and then anything coming after it, it doesn't matter what, and then there's gonna be a dot and log. So everything that starts with 2024-03 and ends with a log extension, it's here now. But let's say I want to refine that search. Let's say now I want all logs. Oops, ls first. I want all logs from 2024 March, but I want network logs. So I don't know the date. I want all dates, and then I want network. And I notice some of them have 1, 2, or 3, but I want all of them. And I'm gonna put an asterisk here too, and then .log. Okay, so now we have a few less log files, and I can refine even more. Let's say now I know that I want the log from the 5th. So there you go. Now we have only 3 files. And you can narrow down your search like this when you don't know exactly what you're looking for yet, or when you have too many files and you need to like filter to be able to understand what exactly you need to look for. But now one interesting thing about this, so let's clear this up and start all over again, is that it's not because I placed an asterisk on it that it needs to have something, because asterisk means there's gonna look for anything after that pattern that I informed. And if there isn't anything, it's going to bring it either way. So you see there's a yum.log here. So I'm gonna say I want it to list any file that starts with yum, has something after it, and then log. So it brings the yum.log. Why? Because it's gonna look for this pattern yum and this pattern.log and anything that has it, but anything includes nothing. It includes emptiness. So if there isn't anything but it matches the rest of the pattern that I informed, it is going to bring anyway. So now we're going to talk about the second type of wildcard, the question mark. So let's go back to our server, and I'm going to go to a different folder now. It's called, I think it's called asset. Let me see. Yeah, so cd assets. And I created a folder called images, and there's all these images. They don't exist. They're fake as well, just for the for this example. And let's say, as you can see, we have different types of pictures here. They're supposed to be photos of different years, different months, and some of them have dates, some of them they're not actually photos, they're images or something else, and they don't have they don't follow this pattern of date, month, and name, and some sort of key. So we're gonna get the Christmas example. So let's say I want to list specific photos about Christmas. They're from Christmas, but I don't know exactly which ones I'm looking for yet. So I'm gonna start with the asterisk just to show you how many pictures we have and what types of pictures. So I'm using the asterisk just to say, this is wrong actually, Christmas. Just to say that I want anything that it could start with something, or it could just start with Christmas. It wouldn't matter, and then it could have something after Christmas or not, and then PNG. So these are all the Christmas photos I have. But you see, I have some photos that are from 2023, and I have others that don't really, they're not really numbered. Let's say they're not dated. Actually, they don't have a date. And there could be hundreds of pictures in here. Let's say I only want those that actually have a date. And it doesn't matter the date. I just want those that are dated. So I'm going to use question mark for it. Because if I just use the asterisk like I did here, it wouldn't return just those with dates. Because like I said, let me just create one additional file here to show you something. So I'm going to create something called Christmas. All right. Now let's do that search again. You see, the file that the fake image that I just created, it's here too. So like I explained before, if you use an asterisk, even if it doesn't have anything before it, it's going to return that file. So now what we're going to do, we're going to use the question mark, because the question mark will return exactly the type of pattern that we're looking for. And we're looking for pictures with dates here. So I'm going to start with, I know they start with a year. So I know year has 4 digits, and then there's a dash, and then comes the month. The month has 2 digits, and then comes Christmas. Oops, Christmas, I keep forgetting the I. And then I might as well use an asterisk here because it might have something after it or not. And then PNG, I know they are PNG. And I'm missing the LS again. I keep doing that as well. So there you see, now I have the pictures I want, those with dates. So, okay, let me clear this up and let's start again. I want to do another example. Now let's say I want all the pictures that are from the month of January, and it doesn't matter which year or what is the picture about. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the ls first, list all files. and then the question mark for the year, because I don't care about the year as long as it is a year, and then January, and then I'm gonna use the asterisk again because it doesn't matter what comes after it, and that's it. These are the pictures that I have for the month of January in every year. So I think it's pretty clear by now, the question mark and the asterisk. We're gonna do one last example. We're gonna do an example for the brackets now, how the brackets are used. Okay, so we're gonna go back to, let me see, to logs. Notice that we have some logs here called app log, but they are, some of them start with an uppercase, or the A is uppercase, sometimes the P is uppercase. And the search here, when we look for something, it is case sensitive. So let's say I want all those called app log. So from here you can see there are two, app.log. But you see, if I ask to list app log, it is going to return just this one, because the other one, the two P's are uppercase. So if I want to look for a file, it doesn't matter if it's uppercase or lowercase, and I'm not sure how it has been written, I can use brackets for it. So we're gonna use ls, and we're gonna use brackets, and I'm gonna say that for the first character, it could be either A as uppercase or lowercase. For the second, B, it could be uppercase or lowercase, and the same thing for the third letter, which is P uppercase or lowercase. And then I'm gonna add an asterisk here because there are some other files that have numbers. So, and then .log. So here you see I have all files that start with app, doesn't matter if it's lowercase or uppercase, and doesn't matter if they have numbers after it or not. And they all have the log extension. So this is how we use the brackets. Now, is that all? No, we still have more. So we can work with ranges as well. And here I'm showing you a C-C because I'm calling it like a character. I couldn't put just a number, N for number, because this could be used for letters and numbers. So any type of character that could have a range. So we're going to do an example for that as well. And for that, we're going to go to the photos again. So assets and images. All right, we're there. Let's say you want to list all files from the first semester of 2023. That's what we're going to do. So I know the file starts with 2023, and then for the month, I'm going to say it could be from 01 to 06. From July on, I don't want it. And then we can have anything after it, doesn't matter the name, and it needs to have the extension .png. So there you go. If we didn't put this, let's see how many files we would have if we didn't put it. You see, we would have 7 files, but because we specified that we wanted only the range from January to June, then we only have 3 of them. It's 2 birthday pictures and a dog picture. That's how you can use the bracket. And I have some other examples in here as well. I have another example here just to exemplify the different ways you can apply this rule for ranges. So you can use, like I showed in the example, from for number ranges, for example 0 through 9. So you're gonna have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You can have letters from A to D. It understands too. So you're gonna have from A till the letter G. And you can combine these two different types of letters and numbers, and you're not gonna separate these different patterns with anything. That means here, if it's confusing, what it's saying here is that it starts with the letter A, uppercase. It goes through the letter F, uppercase. That's one pattern. Imagine there's something dividing in here. Then we start with the second pattern, which is A, lowercase, through F, lowercase, and then the third pattern, it's 0 through 9. So they're not separated, they're written like this, one after the other, and you're gonna have this sequence combined here. That's the pattern that it's going to look for. So now we also have the complementation. Is a different type of way that you can use the globbing. So let's go back and try that. So for this example, it's a tricky one, and it's a little bit more complex than the other thing. So I created this folder called data with all these numbered files, and they don't have anything, they're fake, and just like the others. And let's say I would want to list all files. Let's start with file, and I do not want, let's see, open a bracket. I do not want between 1 and 5. And then txt. So what am I expecting here? I'm expecting that it is going to show all files that start with the word file, and then 6, 7, 8, anything after that. So let's see what it shows. And then I got file 9, which is correct because I didn't want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. File 9, it's right, but why is it not showing 23, for example? And why is it not showing, for example, 10, file 10? I wanted to see file 10. So here's what happens. When it is comparing this, it is not considering these two things as a number, but it is sort of like a string. So it is just matching each character. And when I said I don't want characters between 1 and 5, when you look at it, the first character here is 2. It's between 1 and 5. The first character here is 1. It is between 1 and 5. So it is not going to show these files. So what if I wanted to see files that do not start with the first character between 1 and 5, but if there is anything else after it, if there's a second number there, it could be a string, I want to see it, then I would have to use the asterisk. All right, still I wouldn't see those files like 23, because like I said, is the first character that is comparing after file, and it's out of this range. It has to be out of this range in order to show, because I'm saying I do not want to see anything between this range. So it's showing file 001 because I didn't mention 0 here, and it's showing file 9 because it's more than 5. So that's how this one works. Is a little bit more complicated, but it still might be useful. And now we have one last example, which is path names. So you can also use these wildcards that I showed you to filter files and directories. So let's say, I'm gonna go back here, I'm gonna clear this up. So I am inside of apps and data. Let's go back to folders. Okay, now I'm in Globbing. And here I have apps. All right, but let's say I do not know the exact name of the folders. I don't remember. I just know that what I want is, let's say, it's inside of a folder. It's going to be apps, but let's say I do not remember. and I know there is assets inside of it, and then there's some folder, and then there is, I don't know, PNG files. So something PNG. And there it goes, I have my pictures. I didn't actually remember the path, but I remembered there was an assets folder, and after that there was another folder that I didn't quite remember the name, and I wanted to see the PNG files inside of that. And that's how you can filter directories using the asterisk, okay? So I think that's the last example. One last thing that I would like to point before I go is that wildcard patterns are not the same thing as regular expressions because they match file names, not text. What does that mean? Sometimes you can use asterisks or other stuff to filter things inside of a file. So text inside of a file. For instance, if you're trying to search for specific errors or things in the log file, you can use this type of thing, but those are regular expressions, and what I'm showing here, they are not. They are globbings, and they're different because they do not look into content when inside of files. And in fact, we have some discrepancies because, for example, the asterisk, when you're using a regular expression, it means 0 or more copies of the preceding thing. And here, when we're using to search for files and directories, it means anything. It could be 0, it could be a word, it could be an extension, it could be anything. So that's it for today. That's what I had for globbing. If you want to know more about it, if you still have any doubts, I have a link of a documentation, a Linux documentation about glob, and I'm going to put a link on the description. I encourage you to read. It's very important to read documentation. Sometimes it's boring to read stuff. It's easier to watch videos, but I found that this is one of the ways that you learn most, like in more detail, like by reading documentation. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you and see you next time.